In 2002, eBay was the biggest online marketplace on Earth. It had already succeeded in 19 different countries. So when it set its sights on China, over 1 billion potential customers, expectations were enormous. On December 20th, 2006, 4 years after eBay first entered China and just over 2 years after buying the country's top auction site outright, eBay's own CEO flew to Shanghai to personally announce the company was leaving. It's leaving entirely. So, what happened? eBay didn't lose to price. It didn't lose to product. It lost to a single feature it never saw coming. And understanding what that feature was tells you almost everything about why global brands fail in local markets. By the early 2000s, eBay had replicated the same basic model in country after country. List an item, auction it off, collect a small fee. It worked almost everywhere. To enter China fast, eBay didn't start from scratch. It acquired EachNet in July 2003, a local startup that already controlled nearly 80% of China's online consumer-to-consumer market. On paper, this looked like a guaranteed win. The market leader, backed by the biggest company in the industry. Jack Ma saw eBay's arrival coming and he was alarmed. He reportedly said that he was alarmed that someday eBay would come in our direction. Jack Ma understood something about the Chinese market that a foreign giant might easily miss. The line between a small business and an everyday individual seller barely existed there. If eBay took hold, it wasn't just going to compete for auction customers. It was going to compete for the same everyday sellers Alibaba already depended on. So Jack Ma made a defensive move. He launched a competing consumer-to-consumer platform, not primarily to make money, but to keep eBay from ever taking root. He called it Taobao, meaning digging for treasure, and opened it completely free to anyone selling anything. It turns out that people tuned in for Taobao's advertisements based on their name. As one Shanghai resident says, since its name means digging for treasure in Chinese, it attracted a lot of attention by a smart play on words. While most people in the West had never heard of Taobao, its name was heard loud and strong in China. Taobao wasn't designed to be a moneymaker. It was designed as a wall. Ma later described the fight in a now famous line. eBay might be a shark in the ocean, but Taobao was a crocodile in the river. And if the fight happened on the river's terms, the crocodile would win. Taobao made listings completely free at a time when eBay was still charging fees for every listing and sale. That was the first crack. The real difference went much deeper. Online shopping in China at the time had a massive trust problem. Buyers didn't know sellers. There was no established way to verify someone wasn't going to take your money and disappear. Taobao solved this 2 ways. First, it built real-time messaging directly into the platform, so buyers and sellers could talk before ever making a purchase, building the kind of personal trust that mattered enormously in Chinese business culture. Second, it launched Alipay, an escrow-style payment system that held a buyer's money until they confirmed the item had actually arrived. eBay, meanwhile, ran on PayPal, a payment system barely used or trusted in China at the time. There was no messaging system built in, no escrow, just the same auction format that worked fine in the US, dropped into a market with completely different trust dynamics. On top of the product gap, eBay ran its China operations remotely, largely managed from outside the country, with leadership that didn't speak the language or deeply understand the local market. Taobao's team, by contrast, was built from the ground up for Chinese consumers. Every decision, from free listings to instant messaging, was made by people who understood exactly what local buyers needed to feel safe purchasing online. Within a few years, Taobao's market share climbed toward dominance in Chinese e-commerce, while eBay's presence collapsed. By 2006, eBay formally exited the Chinese market entirely. Today, Taobao and its parent company, Alibaba, is one of the largest e-commerce operations in the world. The small distraction Jack Ma built to defend his turf became the platform that pushed a global giant out of the country entirely. So why did eBay actually fail in China? Not because the opportunity wasn't real. Over 1 billion potential customers doesn't get more real than that. It failed because it tried to run the exact same playbook that worked everywhere else, in a market with a fundamentally different problem to solve. Being the biggest company in the world doesn't automatically mean you understand what a specific market actually needs. Sometimes, the company that wins isn't the one with more money or more countries under its belt. It's the one that actually listens to what local customers are afraid of.